Hunt A, again, initial only for his first name, 1999. And again, that I'm going to have my title, Singing the Dyads. Now notice here I have a colon in this title. The first word after a colon will get capitalized. So the first word after a punctuation mark within the title will get capitalized. So Singing the Dyads, the Chinese Landscape Scroll, and Gary Snyder's Mountains and Rivers Without Ends. This Mountains and Rivers Without End is in italics, but lowercase, except for the first word, because it is a book title. And this is a review of this book. And then I have the journal title, followed by the comma, volume, issue, comma, and now I have some very specific page numbers. I found this in a traditional site. In source, pulled it off the shelf. I did not get this online. Okay? And then I have Mandarin, 1994, the Encyclopedia Americana, Danbury, Connecticut, Breuer. I wanted to define the term Mandarin for my reader for what I'm doing. So I used an encyclopedia to do that. But notice what I'm citing it by, not only in the paper, but on this reference page, is not by the name of the encyclopedia. I'm citing it by the term. We do not cite things from the dictionary or encyclopedia by the name of the encyclopedia or dictionary. We cite it by the term. I see that frequently in English classes where you want to say, according to Webster's, he's dead. We're going to leave him dead. I would cite it by the term that's in that dictionary. Okay? But notice and remember, when I had that in my in-text on the previous slide, Mandarin was in quotation marks within the parentheses. It is not in quotation marks here. So we have these different rules with punctuation of titles, and that's what frequently will throw students off. An article or chapter title, what will I do with it? I'm going to capitalize the first and only first word of the title and any subtitle and all proper nouns. Okay? No italics, no quotation marks. If I have a journal title, a newsletter, or magazine title, I'm going to give the full title. I'm going to use upper and lowercase capitalization, and I'm going to set it in italics. Okay? So different rules for different titles. If I have a book or report, like a PDF file or a pamphlet, some of you may be using some sources where you use a pamphlet from the federal government or from another source. I'm going to capitalize only the first word of the title and any subtitles and all proper nouns. I will use italics. And in parentheses after the title, I may need to include some additional information, such as the edition or the report number or even the volume number for a book. So I may have to do that in parentheses after the title. So I may have to, okay? So different rules for different types of titles. So here are some title samples for you. The first one is just a general title of an article. Mental and Nervous Diseases in the Russo-Japanese War, a Historical Analysis. Notice the first word after a colon is capitalized and only the proper nouns after the first word. Okay. Social Science Quarterly. I have a journal. All words are upper lowercase capitalization. It is in italics. And the final one is a pamphlet. Development of the entry-level test to select FBI special agents. In my parentheses, that additional information, I have the publication number. And then my final period. It is in italics, but only the first word and proper nouns are capitalized. It's an example of the three types of titles that you may encounter. Some other non-routine information that I may need to add to some titles, and some of this non-routine information I would actually add in the square brackets. Letter to the editor, special issue, special section, brochure, audio podcast, lecture notes, video webcast. In other words, I need to specify to my reader some in the reference page where do I find some of the stuff and what's unique about the source. Now here's that DOI I said I'd talk about at this point. It's called Digital Object Identifier. And we're going to refer to it most of the time as DOI. It provides a means of persistent identification for a particular source. Your instructor can go out to this DOI.org, type in that DOI number, and pull up that article every single time. So can you. The catch, I may have to pay for it out here at this site. Some articles I will have to do that with. Some articles will be free. Okay? Articles with a DOI can also be referenced at this crossref.org site. So again, I can go out to there, check on the article. So if you provide a DOI for your instructor, and your instructor wants to make sure this is a legitimate source, we're going to be typing in that number. And we're going to be going out and finding it very, very quickly. A DOI is an alphanumeric string. It's assigned by an agency. Your instructor cannot assign it. You cannot assign it. And there are some patterns to it. And so if you pick up the wrong pattern for it, it's going to be a dead giveaway.